You were told to be quiet. You were told to shrink. You were told that love meant pain. Here you are. Here you rise. Welcome to Powerful Woman Rising from Narcissistic Abuse. The show where we break the chains of narcissistic abuse, reclaim our power, and step into the unstoppable force we were always meant to be. I'm Azadeh, best-selling author, narcissistic abuse educator, and coach to high achievers. Together, we'll uncover the truth, rewrite our stories, and ignite the power within. It's time to rise, it's time to heal, and it's time to take your life back. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to another episode of Powerful Woman Rising from Narcissistic Abuse. Today, I have a guest that I'm not going to just use everyday words. I'm going to say the alignment and the energy and the words and God are already activated before we even started talking. This is probably my very first prior introduction that I've ever had. We have so much in common. I love how God brings us together. Welcome, Erika Rothenberger, mom, author, business owner, Audacious Summit, which I think you're going to have that every year now, right? I just saw that. You are a true powerhouse. Welcome.
Woo, woo! Let's go. Let's go. Oh my goodness. I love that you're honoring me on this podcast today. And man, we are going to unpack a lot. I can already feel it.
We're going to unpack so much. I'm already like, I want my audience, because there's so much, because that's the book that's coming out, Breakdown to Breakthrough. I want to jump in right away. We look at you, I see you, and I think, okay, she's got her shit together. Like, she's got her kids, her gorgeous, supportive husband. She just had an event. She has time to work out. She has time to do this, time to do that. Let it rip for us right now what an average day looks like for you from morning to night, and how you handle each decision in what, 3 seconds, 5 seconds, with everything you have. Start with that.
Oh, I love this question. And first of all, before I even answer it, I want you to know that most days I am a hot mess express. And I mean that in the most beautiful way, that life is messy. It's unperfect. And anything that you see, and that's why I do share a lot of my social media and lots of my stories, because I'm like, listen, people have to see the behind the scenes, the waking up at 3:30 a.m. because that's when I get up, because I love the mornings. I know people listening to that, they could cringe. They might have an inner revolt right now. But I will tell you that that's when I operate best. So my alarm goes off typically at 3:30, but my inner alarm, before the actual even sound of my alarm, typically goes off, because that's the time that God wants me to rise. That's the time that I am most creative and the most juices come to me. And, you know, I am getting 3 minutes in the morning to really set the intention, 3 gratitude statements that I make each morning, and 30 minutes devoted to myself before I go to the gym, before I fold the laundry, before I do the kids' lunches, and then getting to the gym around 5 a.m., doing my workout, coming back, getting kids on buses, lunches packed, all of the things, getting myself to work, because I'm still in corporate America. I'm a civil engineer with my MBA, working my teams, traveling, perhaps training that day, depends, sitting around board tables. Sometimes it's actually lacing up my steel toe boots and being on that job site, coming home, playing mom, running to practices, playing Uber and taxi cab, and whether it's football or baseball or wrestling or dance or art class or something else in between, making it work, and then being a wife too. And, finding the time to defend the time for the date night here or there, or maybe it's just that 5-minute conversation that we can look eye to eye that day, because sometimes that's all we have, right? But sometimes it's staying up a little later than I should to work on those goals and work on those dreams. And I truly believe that I have a method called 3-3-30, and that 3 minutes a day, the 3 gratitude, but the 30 minutes that I'm working on that audacious goal, that thing that I'm working on, my entrepreneurial spirit, speaking, writing my books, making sure that I'm doing the do to fuel myself every day for that where I'm going. And sometimes the audacity isn't the big, bold, brave things. Sometimes it's not the book finally being published. It's the 2 years that went into writing it and ripping up the pages and crying on the bathroom floor and thinking that I want to throw the towel in. That's the audacious action.
Wow. Wow. Talk about raw and real. Raw and real. Truth, truth, truth. On the kitchen, in the bathroom floor, crying your guts out because you had to relive it. Share us why. What triggered that?
Just those days when you just feel like you're not enough, or you like, who makes me an author, or oh my goodness, I have to rewrite this chapter, or oh listen, I'm only 1 chapter in and I have 21 more to write, and where am I finding the time, and how am I showing up as the wife and as the mom and working full time and wearing all of these hats? And my whole methodology of really what I teach women is add weight. And I know there may be an inner revolt. You hear that, you're like, whoa, 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 I don't want to add weight. There's GLP-1s, there's this going on, that going on. I don't mean actual physical weight. I mean adding the weight to what is serving you and taking off the weight that's draining you in your life. Where do we, because it still takes hard work. We have to decide where that weight's going to be added, where your pressure point is actually the moment that you decide to make the phone call, you write the first page of your book, you decide to launch the podcast, you make the decision to apply for that job. That's where you're adding the pressure point. Because when you add the pressure to where it really belongs, that's when the action starts to happen. And it's not pretty, and it's not easy, and it's not always fun. But I promise you, if you show up day in and day out and do the consistent effort, it will come to fruition.
Yes, it is in the action and not in the thinking. It's in the action, not in the thinking. In the action, not in the thinking. How do you talk to yourself? How does self-talk support you into the action?
Love this question. And I will say, with 80,000 thoughts a day and 90% of them being negative, it is so easy to get into imposter syndrome. I can't do it. Everything's fine. The finiteness, right? Like, stop, because balance is bullshit. I don't believe there's ever a perfect balance. Think about a balance beam, right? I never been on a balance beam where 2 people have the exact same weight and it's just perfectly balanced. Life is going to get messy. It's going to get out of whack. It's going to get out of order. But what I want to remind you is it's actually showing up on the days that it doesn't feel easy. It's actually showing up and doing the do. And I have a method in my book called BOLD. And the O of BOLD is the ongoing process, making sure that you have consistent actions every day, that 1% that's going to make you 37 times better at the end of the year, the things that you're doing each day. It's like building a wall, like in the construction industry, being a woman who's been in the construction industry for over 2 decades. It's brick by brick, mortar by mortar, right? Building, building, building. At the end of the day, looking back and being like, damn, I started with that first brick and look where I am now, because I decided to continue to do it. Even the days that it was hot, even the days it was rainy, even the days that it didn't feel like showing up. That's when the results start to happen. That's where the audacity, it is the mortar between the joints or in the joints that actually is what's going to give you the audacity to build the wall. Yes, you celebrate the wall when it's built, but it's actually every time you put a brick on, that's being audacious.
Ooh, 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 ooh. It's not the final destination. It's the journey.
Amen.
And it's the piece by piece. Ooh, so good. Erika, I can't wait I just got this book a few days ago. I'm going to be reading the whole thing. And I love how you literally, it's like a coach in your own home.
Mm-hmm.
It's a coach in your home with direction.
Yes.
And results. But
because it's great. It's great. I've read lots of books that at the end of it, I close it. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to go do all those things. But I really believe at the end of every chapter, I actually give it audacity and action. Now, not all of them are going to pertain to everyone, but if you could pick 2 or 3 out of them that you're going to go and put into play, man, you have won. Because I want to remind you is that when you actually write something down, you're 43% more likely to make it happen. And then when you tell someone else, you're 78% 98% more likely to make them happen. So pick 2 or 3 of the audacious actions in this book and start putting them into play. You tell me your life doesn't start to move, your life doesn't start to shift, then you didn't do the work, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
There's your answer.
And for my audience that love numbers, did you guys hear that? 78%, if you teach it, you got to get it and give it away. You got to give it away. You got to give it away. When you give it away, that's when you get it. So go give it away, right?
And the bold, the D in bold is developing others, deciding that it's no longer about us. And when you start serving others, when you start teaching others, when you start, now it's not you just building the wall, it's actually building the wall for someone else, or building the wall with someone else, teaching someone else how to build that wall. That's when you start to reach that pinnacle. That's when you can't put a price tag on it. When you're the light for someone else, when you start to serve. And the reason this month, the month of March being Women History Month, I decided to donate all proceeds to women of domestic violence is because although I had a brutal attack that was not domestic, but still was a brutal attack, there's a woman or man out there who can't speak right now and tell his or her story because they're living under the same roof as their perpetrator. They are relying upon them financially. And I want to be their audacious voice right now. I want to be their light by knowing that this book is going back to those proceeds.
That already, it makes me want to cry because that is so aligned with God and a vision for us. We stand for them when they can't.
Yes.
And that means everything. As a domestic violence survivor and knowing your story and how you were attacked out of nowhere, and just knowing what you're doing with this and how that's when I was like, I got to get her on my podcast now. I want my viewers to see this. We don't just rise. We don't just rebuild. We also stand for others. We have to stand for others. Otherwise, validation takes 10 seconds. Thank you. You're amazing. Thank you. And then bye. Now what?
Yes.
We want to leave impact. We want to help others. That is the true purpose of happiness. I want to
ask anyone who's getting at that age where, comes full circle. That's the legacy we leave.
Yes.
It's not the money in our bank account or the car that we drive or the purse that we have, and all that stuff's nice, right? Like I like nice stuff too. I like vacations I like going out to dinner, all of that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, I think the biggest regret most people will have is that, I didn't do enough of that, right? Because, Maya Angelou says, right, it's not necessarily what you say, it's how you made people feel. And you can leave the world better than you found it, right? I'm not saying the entire universe is going to be better, but if you can leave it better than you found it, then you've come full circle. And that's why we're on Earth, right? We have a 1 in 400 trillion chance of being on this earth as Azadeh, as Erika, right? Like we were not meant to play small. We were meant to leave a legacy.
In fact, playing small, the more I've been researching it, it actually creates mistrust with others. It actually creates a mistrust with self. It's actually not, and it's also abandoning your calling. It really has consequences. It's not just like we all come here and say, don't play small. No, there is consequences to relationships, your calling, and helping others. And there's so many. It's because we see so much quick playing small. Well, what is that? You're not rising. And so people are like not trusting because you're not rising. They're like, what are you doing? What are you worshiping? What thoughts are you worshiping?
And I want to remind people who are listening to this. So Azadeh, you look at someone like yourself who's written like 5 books now and is like making massive movements, right? Like audacity doesn't mean big is better. It can be the smallest thing. It could be that you are coaching your kids' little league team, right? It could be that you're writing, like stopping by a homeless shelter and dropping off food every week. Like it does not need to be these monumental, like Nelson Mandela type, movements, right? Like your serving looks different than Ozzy's, it looks different than mine, looks different than the person to the right left of you. No two serving methods need to be the same. It needs to be what's right for you.
Exactly. Exactly. And this is, by the way, to my viewers, someone, Erika, just spoke at a keynote with 450 people. So she's not even talking about that, you guys. She's talking about small acts of service that bring joy and happiness and
Yep.
purpose. So
you know, it's the reason that my podcast was named Grit, Grace, and Glitz. And the glitz, sometimes I think people think it's like the fancy shoes or the car. I want to remind people that the glitz is every day, the small little things that are happening, right? The roof over your head, the giggles of your children, the phone call you made to an old friend, like that's celebration, right? Because let's face it, the far and few between of like the day the book gets released or the day you get the stage, right? Like it's the little things. And if we're not finding gratitude in the little things, we're never going to find gratitude in the big things.
Exactly. 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 That's so true. That's so, so true. It's in the small acts. And that brings me to your book. I want to ask you, because this is a lot of my viewers, by the way, and my clients that I have on social media and some of my authors. I'm just going to pull out on page 60. You wrote, relationship evaluation. Are my closest relationships nurturing or draining? Am I investing time and energy in the people who matter most? Where do I need to repair, strengthen, or perhaps distance myself from relationships? How do you, as someone that now is doing the Audacious Summit, and I'm so excited that you're doing it again. I thought it was just last year.
No, this is going to be a movement, girlfriend.
This is so exciting. I want to know how I can be a part of and support and bring my posse. I mean,
let's go.
Let's go, right? Seriously. I'm so excited about it. So I want to first know, how do you know? Because you lead so many women and a team at work, but how do you give chances? Do you just distance? How do you know when someone is starting to, like, you can feel it, but how do you know when you should hang out and stay and support until their conscious speaks? Or do you just kind of like move, like how do you walk that distance of the person that's draining you?
I love this. I love this. And I truly believe the older I get, the more I realize I need to set those boundaries, right? And it doesn't mean you need to cut someone out of your life, but I think you have to decide, we all have 24 hours in the day. Who are we going to give our energy and our time to, right? And I think the older I get, the more I realize how valuable time is. And who are those people I really want to spend time with? Who are those people that are lifting me up? And the L of the bold method is leaning on others. Who are your board of directors? Who are those people who are in your inner circle, right? And you can have different layers of that circle. And it doesn't mean you have to cut people out completely, but who are you really giving the time to? And there's a chapter in the book too that talks about no with a period, and it's okay to say no without an explanation. But I want to remind you of a very important fact that I resonate with when I think about the people that are in my life. And when we sit within a 25-foot radius of someone who is a high performer, who's bringing up our energy, who is next leveling us, who quite frankly probably is further ahead than us, we end up raising our bar as humans by 15%, right? Just by sitting within a 25-foot radius. Conversely, when we sit around people who are underperforming, bringing our energy down, aren't motivating us, we bring our bar down by 25%.
Oh, so I love this approach. Keep going, please.
So you have to think like, are you okay cutting out your energy or cutting out who you are or how you're performing by 25% every day by hanging around those people because you feel that you need to keep that relationship going out of obligation? Like, I'm sorry, when I raise my bar, I want to be around people that are performing better than me, that are intimidating me, quite frankly, in a good way. I want to be better, because when you stay in as the big fish in the small pond, it feels really good. Look at me. I can do it. This, that, like it's self-fulfilling. But when you get into that big pond and you're the small fish, we grow to the capacity of the tank that we're put in. And if we stay in that little box, we stay in a cage. When we decide to expand,
Yes.
you know what I mean? All of a sudden, we have an entire ocean in front of us of exploration of where we're going, of who we're becoming, of our growth and our own expansion. You just have to ask yourself the question, do you want to stay as the tiny goldfish? Or do you want to, you know what I mean, turn into, you know what I mean, the giant fish and decide like, listen, I have so much more opportunity in front of me.
Oh my God. Love the and I love the analogy of what you described, just sitting next to someone at a table.
Yes.
The impact of just breaking bread with somebody.
And Azadeh, let's level set this, right? When I joined Amberly's mastermind, I got to meet women like yourself and other women that, quite frankly, I was like, oh, they're so much further ahead of me. I haven't done this, or how do they know that? But guess what? All it did was once the initial intimidation came off, and let's face it, we all have imposter syndrome. We're all going to have intimidation.
Yeah.
Once I realized that these women, everyone starts at square one. These women had just been doing it longer than me.
Exactly.
You guys have been some of my biggest cheerleaders in life. But if I never put myself into that new swim tank and I never surrounded myself with people, my bar was never going to raise.
Exactly. Exactly.
And it's 15% just being in their vicinity. That's not even doing any of the work. Then when you start doing the work, it exponentially starts to grow.
Exactly. And it's all about the perspective. Are you going to let the negative thoughts take you down, or are you going to be inspired? I mean, just looking at your book, I'm inspired. I'm like, oh, I think I'm going to do it like this a little bit. Like, but I don't have fear of telling you how you wrote your book and inspired me, and I may be doing a formula like this or that in my book. So we have to let go of like that insanity that comes with, don't tell her, just do it in secret, and then you can shine bigger. Like all of that nonsense has to go. It has to go. And
that comes with a scarcity mindset. And anytime I feel that way, like, ooh, I don't want to, and every once in a while, let's face it, I do, ooh, I don't want to tell that person about that speaking engagement or this and the other. I'm like, I am playing in a scarcity mindset. Shame on you, Erika. I catch myself now. You promised yourself, Erika, you're going to live in an abundant mindset. There is more than enough to go around for absolutely everyone. So if you decide to live in that scarcity mindset, you will attract scarcity.
Exactly. Oh, say that again.
If you decide to stay in that scarcity mindset, you will attract scarcity. You're going to attract just the scraps. But if you decide to be in that abundant mindset, you will start attracting things that you never knew were even in your orbit. And I feel that energy right now in a way that I've never felt before. When I stopped playing small, when I decided that I could audaciously expand, after I wrote this book, there was so much self-reflection that happened during the process of writing a book that you realize it is hundreds of thousands of hours of therapy, self-therapy, that you're like, oh my goodness, and you almost become speechless of how much you personally grow.
Oh my God, you connect to the old, you wire to this, your superpowers, you literally, that's what I say, it is your therapy. And a lot of people are afraid to write their book, or they stop in the middle of it. And when they might talk to them, it's not that the story, it's the fear of reliving. It's the fear of facing. It's not the book at all. And I know that. That's why I've written so many. I know what it takes and what it feels like to go back into those pockets and come out and then walk through them.
Yes.
Through them.
And I also believe too, that it can't just be the words you put in the book. Right. You actually need to be living the actions of them. And there's times when I have to reread a chapter in my own book. Oh. Like, wait, I am telling the entire world to go do this in chapter 12, but I'm not doing it today.
Exactly. And I love, oh, the honesty is so good right now. I have a reel that I put on my publishing page. I had to go back to my own book because I fell into my own patterns, my workbook. I fell into my old patterns and I needed to, and that's the reality.
And it's
Like,
okay.
it's
That
okay.
you're catching yourself is the fact that you're willing to do the be a bold, and that's believing in yourself enough to be like, hey, I don't know what I don't know, and I know that I've fallen back here. I have to do some of the self work. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And
Yes.
and we are gonna go through seasons.
Yes,
It's okay.
marital. It is okay. It is okay. And when we are honest about it and tell people about it, they're like, "Oh, so I don't have to be perfect." In fact, I cringe when people's like, "Life's amazing constantly. Life's amazing." No, it's not. It can't be. It can't
No,
be. It wasn't for Jesus either. In fact, it was worse for him. It can't be. Tell me how you walk through the pains of life, please.
yes. Show me the heartache. Show me the tough moment.
Yes. And the good. I want
Yeah,
real. I
of course.
want raw. I want real and raw. And that's what is to me so attractive is the
Yep.
real and the raw, the seasons, the struggles, the step backs, the saying this and doing that. And that's what recovery is all about. As an alcoholic, that's what we're taught is constantly looking at ourselves.
And you can't develop others unless you are truly authentic that way and share that. And some of the best leaders I've ever had in corporate America, in entrepreneurship, are the ones that are most vulnerable, that are sharing those stories. They're sharing the ups, they're sharing the downs, they're sharing the heartache.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a LinkedIn newsletter coming out this week, and it talks
Okay.
about, what audacity actually is. And, that the audacity, to our point before, is those hard moments, is those wall kicking moments, is that, like, that's what I think people think audacity is like. Oh, I always show up every day and I'm strong and I got it together. And that's baloney.
Exactly. It's not realistic or
No.
sustainable. So for the meaning of audacious is basically what you're saying is being fearless in your speaking about your struggles.
Yes. Yes.
Beautiful.
Not letting fear finish the sentence and deciding to take the action anyways.
I love that. And then, so like sometimes we think audacious is just like being a go-getter and being
Yes.
pushing harder, harder. And you're saying, no, it's
Nope.
about being honest and open and loud to the world about what it looks like to be me in
Yeah.
everyday life.
And sometimes it's those quiet moments that no one sees, and that's okay too, right? Like sometimes there's times in your life or seasons where you aren't the loud one, or you aren't the one, like, you know what I mean, sharing everything. And that's okay, because sometimes it takes that self work to be willing or ready to share it, right? Like there's some stuff that can be really vulnerable that you're just not ready, and it's okay, right? Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't mean that you're an imposter. It doesn't mean that you're, you know what I mean? Like, it just means like, hey, listen, I know I need to work through this first personally before I can actually share it with the world.
Yes, yes, because we don't want to leak out trauma and pain unless there's some container in it. Absolutely. 100%. Erika, there was one more that I wanted to ask you about. It's on page 13 today, and I feel like you already kind of answered it, but if there's any more for my viewers and my clients and my authors, can hear is today I choose audacity over blending in. What
Mm.
small act of authenticity are you embracing? When you say today I choose um, uh, audacity over blending in, what can you? I'm about to sneeze.
Oh, that's okay. It's okay. I know which question you're asking. So,
Yeah.
I'll tell you through a story, because I love stories, and stories are 22 times more powerful than any fact or stat, even though I do love my stats or facts being an engineer. Um, when I first started in the construction industry, I thought, I had to, quote unquote, look like the boys, right? Like in the sense of wear the khakis, wear the blue pants, black
Oh.
pants, the muted gray suit. And I'm at a point in my life where I'm still in that industry. And now I show up with the pink blazer. Now I show up with the pink pants. Now I show up with my louder voice. Now I sit at the table in the middle of the conference room table. I don't mean in the center of I don't sit on the table, but at a chair that's in the center of the table, or at the center of the table, and be able to share my opinions and voice what I need to. Because to me, when we blend in, we're basically saying we're okay playing small. But where does small actually get us?
Love that. So you sit in the jacket you're wearing,
Yep.
and so what was it like when you first decided, no, I'm gonna wear what I want, be who I want, say what I want, be me? What
Yep.
did that feel like? Did you have backlash? Did you have
Oh,
setbacks?
100%. And I still, like, every once in a while it backlashes me. But now I have to, it was really working on the confidence. And it wasn't like one day I went from wearing my blue, tailored pants to wearing like all pink. It wasn't, I think, I think for any of us, it takes trial and error. Like, it takes us, okay, going there and then maybe taking a step back and then going there again and taking a step back. But it becomes easier the more we're willing to make that step in
Yeah.
what we're doing. And the pink pants or the pink blazer is just an analogy, but whatever you're going towards, it's consistently knowing, hey, am I showing up in my authentic, true version? Because at the end of the day, I want to be paid for who I am, for how I think. And what I realized is when I started doing that and stopped trying to be a chameleon and like just fit in, I realized that that's when I was able to really believe in myself, which made me more confident, but also to be able to go against quote unquote the grain and not just agree to what the boys were
Yeah.
saying
Yeah.
and say, listen, I need to give another perspective, because at the end of the day, we're paid to think, right? I am not paid to be a wallflower. And if I'm in a room where I feel like I can only be a wallflower, I'm in the wrong room.
Ooh. Ooh. So ladies, the summit, you get to be you 100%. You get to be you, walk you, speak like you. You don't have to be us. You don't. In fact, we encourage you not to if that's what's aligned.
Yep. And it's crazy because I was just at a keynote this week. And, as much as I would love to give every participant a beautiful, like, Tiffany's bracelet, I actually, as they come into the room, I hand them a pink rubber band. And I actually splurged on buying the pink ones versus the brown ones. And for any of you that can't see it, it's just a normal rubber band, like
Uh-huh.
maybe a quarter of an inch thick. And what I remind people who listen to my keynotes is, you know, at the end of the day, they're going to leave that keynote. They're going to feel inspired and all excited, but life's going to life. Things are going to get in the way. The self-doubt's going to creep in. The negative thoughts are going to be there. But I ask everyone to leave that room and put this around their wrist. And what I remind them is that most of the time we're going to stay at this comfortable phase in life, right? We're going to stay where the rubber band sits just right, where it just hangs, because that's comfortable. Because God forbid if I rock the, rock the edges. But I want to remind you that we all have expansion. We all have
Oh,
opportunity
that's my
to
favorite part.
expand. And
Yes.
sometimes we're going to stretch too far and it's going to feel really not great. And every once in a while, I want you to get there. I know you sometimes need to come back to what feels safe, but remember, you always have expansion within you. If you want it, you can find an ability to extend this rubber band. So as you leave that keynote, reminding yourself the days when the doubt creeps in, the day that you feel like you can't apply for that job because you only have 6 of the 8 criteria that are there, you can expand yourself. Let this be your reminder when you leave that keynote that you can elect to decide how you want to expand yourself.
That is the hands down. I'm putting the book down. That is such a damn good analogy. That is something tangible, handleable, and memorable. That is such a good, I love that analogy.
Now, I don't want anyone to hurt themselves or take an eye out, but also snapping yourself
Yeah,
and
that's what
being
I,
like, shut the F up, right?
Yeah, that's what I thought you were gonna go.
Well,
STFU.
that's the second part. That's the PG-13 rate of it. But I want to remind people that, like, stop
Stop.
making the excuse.
Yep.
Stop playing small. Stop taking off, like, you know what I mean, the pressure, because the pressure point is the decision to go and do the hard thing.
For sure. I love that you say that. Me and my girlfriend, we have a thing. We say STFU. STFU. We say it, and you're saying it right now because we go, no, we're not meditating, rehearsing BS that's going to just keep us spiraling. STFU, STFU. And it gets us going, oh my God, you really are an incredible human being. And I think I'm mostly inspired. I love the book and I can't wait to dive in and apply some of them. I'm mostly inspired by how you show up as a mom, as a boss, as a leader, as a wife, as a daughter, as a sister.
Yep.
And you show up for all of those things every day, for all those relationships. That's what really blows me away. You don't say, oh, I've had enough with being a boss. I've had enough being a mom. You're doing them all. That's what inspires me the most.
I appreciate that. And what I will say is something that works really well for me, for someone to take that as a tangible.
Yeah.
I'm really struggling with that right now. They're like, that sounds great. But I want to remember that you can do it all, but you can't do it all every season or every day. So you need to defend the time when you can do it, because I think sometimes we have this falsity that, like, we can be everything to everyone. Well, at some point we're going to drain ourselves or have burnout happen. So one of the things that I do is on Saturday or Sunday, I look at my calendar for the next week, and I color code everything. So all my family activities are in yellow, right? Like, you know, different things in green and different things in, like, you know, when I go to the gym in a different color. And I look at that sea of color for the following week. And if there's one predominant color in there, I say, what can I start to take off that week and put to a following week? What are the things that I can source?
Yeah.
What are the things I can say no to? And do I have enough of that rainbow? Right? Like, it's never going to be a perfect rainbow with every color being perfectly represented. But do I have enough of each of the categories to create integration, not balance, because balance is bullshit, is, you know what I mean? Enough of that integration in my life that I have enough time for my own self-care. I have enough time with my family. I have enough time to, like, work on my audacious goals, right? And defend it. And if it's not on your calendar, it's probably not happening. So if you want to work towards something, writing that book, and you don't have every day 30 minutes to work on that, then to me, it's not a priority, because you have your doctor's appointment on you have your kids' game on there, you have the bubbly brunch with your girlfriends on there. You have to make time for you. And what does that look like every week? And to me, that's just worked really well for me to say, okay, listen. And the last thing that I want to share is start omitting the things that aren't serving you. And I learned this, and I put this analogy towards a lot of aspects of my life, but it's called don't bake the brownies. I remember when my kids were in grade school, and my daughter still is in grade school, but I was so wanted to be that mom that, like, baked the perfect brownies for Valentine's Day. And I didn't like doing that as a day. And finally one day I just said, I'm going to go buy the brownies. And you know what? I realized that I was serving some other mom that was a baker, or someone else that was fulfilling their dreams. And it's okay. You don't have to be that, like, don't try to fit into the mold that doesn't serve you. Omit that from your life. And, like, guess what? I'm no less of a mom because I get baked bread. They probably actually taste 10 times better. I don't even have to do the dishes.
Oh, I love it. It's really so good in the sense of taking us down to all the perspectives and the priorities and how to manage it. And that's how you do it. That's how you do it. It's not a wish or luck. It's the managing and the perspective and the priorities and delegating and doing. And was it better to buy the brownies and sit with my daughter and talk to her? Or should I bake and not be available checking the oven?
Right. And feel resentful, like being like, here's the brownie.
And then I'm going to eat three because I'm pissed.
Right. And then the kids tell you they were burnt on the corners, and then you're like even more upset, right?
Oh God, that's so good. That could be a book. Bake the brownies,
Yeah.
or yeah,
Don't
or
make the
something.
brownies,
Don't
right?
bake the brownies. Yeah, I love it. You're
That's my
amazing.
hashtag. But put that in any aspect of your life. Like
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you hate, like if Saturdays, like you feel like you're bogged down because you're cleaning your house every Saturday, go hire a house cleaner. Now, some people are saying, well, maybe I can't afford that. Maybe that,
Right,
okay, if you had that extra
right.
4 hours a week, what could you be doing to produce income that's bringing you joy? Right. Like, I know it's not always easy, like, you know what I mean? But like, or if you're building a business and you hate doing your bookkeeping and it's taking you 8 hours a week, can you find eight of those 8 hours to outsource to someone to whatever you're paying him or her, using it more useful to go create income, right? Like, and using those 8 hours that is actually fueling you versus draining you.
Exactly. I love that. It's the plus minus. It's like the concept
Yeah.
plus minus, managing that minus. Should I? It's so good. It's really the inventory that you take and how you've gotten to where you've gotten in at all
Yep.
levels of your life.
Yes.
So inspired by you. What is the date of the Audacious Summit?
October 16th of 2026. VIP day starts the day before on October 15th. It's right outside of Philadelphia, 20 minutes from the airport. Bougie fun hotel, Weston, Maine, and Conshohocken. 180 women, was sold out 12 weeks in advance last year. This year, we're going to be sold out at least 16 weeks in advance. The energy is outrageous. The audacious goals that come out of it, the collaboration, because to me, there's nothing better than being in the right room with the right people that are going to next level you.
Absolutely. You guys hear that? October 16th. When do tickets go on sale?
Already on sale. We'll drop the ticket.
Yes.
And the month of March, I have a discount code on in honor of Women History Month, that $25 off general admission, $50 off VIP tickets, and 20% off all sponsorships. So, yes.
Oh my God. So exciting. I'm going to come. I'm coming.
Yes. Oh, you need to be in that room. It's going to
I'm
be magnificent. Next level energy, the speakers, the realness. Like, to me, last year we had a PG-13 panel where we talked about the things that like we're not supposed to talk about, but we all want to talk about, right? Like everything from hormones to menopause to money to sex, like, you know what I
everything.
mean? Like, let's
Everything.
stop. Again, we can't grow unless we're talking about the things that are holding us back.
Absolutely. I love that. There's no shame. Let's talk about
No.
sex. Let's talk about money. Let's talk about pain. Let's talk
Yes.
about it.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being
And
here
you know what is
today.
best, Azadeh, with
Tell
trauma
me.
too? When we stuff trauma away, it will find its wicked head out
You
way
can't,
out.
yeah, yeah. We have to have respect for the trauma. You can't outrun, outlive it. You have to
Nope.
deal. The only way out is through. You have
Yep.
to. Have to. You can't put anything on top of it either.
Nope. I did that for way too long in my life, and I stuffed it down. I repressed it. I wanted to forget about it. And what I realized, it will rear its ugly head. It's like water. It will find its way out.
For sure. That's how I was 220 pounds. I stopped drinking, but then started eating the pain.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's what we do. It comes out. You can't.
Somehow. No matter how hard you try. And I realize that, it will envelop you. It will burn through you. It will burn around you if you don't deal with it. And with my life, I've decided, hey, listen, you gotta handle it head on. It's not easy. It's not fun, but that's where the breakthrough starts to happen.
Exactly. And then you live back into energy and vibrance again.
Well, and I think it goes full circle. That's when you start developing someone else, because when someone else hears your trauma and your story,
Yeah.
there's someone else that needs your mess to be their message.
For sure. For sure. We say that exact same thing in recovery. Absolutely. Have to. Have to. For sure. You're amazing. And I adore you. And I'm so grateful for you.
I'm so
And
grateful to you.
I'm so grateful for you. Thank you for taking the courageous walk, because
Mhm.
it gives us all a message that we can too, and inspires us. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Everything will be in the show notes.
Can't wait to see everyone on October 16th.
I know, October 16th. Yes. And you're
Yep.
coming to my book collaboration launch party, March 22nd, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, to come and celebrate my authors.
I cannot wait. It is going to be amazing.
Amazing. Yeah.
Audaciously amazing.
Audaciously amazing. All right. I love you so much. And you guys, you'll see everything in the show notes, where to follow her, where her event is, the ticket, everything. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.